The two-time defending champion Westfield Blue Devils looking for their third straight title, but standing in their way is the team they've beaten the last 2 years, the Panthers of Bridgewater-Raritan. And tonight they meet here at MetLife Stadium in another championship tilt. News 12 Varsity presents the 2017 New Jersey NJSIAA Playoffs. This is the North 2 Group 5 state championship game. The Panthers of Bridgewater-Raritan versus the 12th-ranked Blue Devils of Westfield. Hello again, everyone. Lou Brogno with you on the call. Alongside is Matt Shortis. Welcome to East Rutherford MetLife Stadium. Tremendous matchup here for the Group 5 championship here in North Jersey. Westfield taking on Bridgewater-Raritan. And Matt, this has become a familiar scenario for these two teams.
Yeah, it's kind of a unique situation. These two teams, they're not league opponents. They're not interdivisional opponents, but it'll be the third consecutive year they're playing each other. In fact, the third consecutive year they're playing each other for a sectional championship. So we know a couple of things. They're familiar with each other now. It'll be a low-scoring game, and it'll be a close game because in the two prior years, these two games have been decided by a total of 5 points.
It's been another outstanding season for the Panthers of Bridgewater-Raritan, coming in at 9-2, led by a former Bridgewater-Raritan West quarterback, Scott Bray, at the helm of the Panthers. What a job he has done in building this program. In his 11th season, class of 1987, and as we said, graduate of Bridgewater-Raritan West High School. West and East, of course, merging in 1991 to form the Bridgewater-Raritan High School you have now. And on the other side for the Blue Devils of Westfield, well, Coach Jim DeSarno has been outstanding. He, too, in his 11th season, a Pompton Lakes graduate, and he has turned Westfield into a tremendous power over the past several seasons. Well, as we head into this championship game tonight, as we said, for Bridgewater-Raritan, it's been another stellar season, and one of the main reasons has been the offensive play of their outstanding running back, Anthony Goff, who did not start the season at the running back position, but certainly has taken charge in that backfield.
No, for Anthony Goff and Bridgewater-Raritan, it's been sort of a next man up situation with David Uswick, the returning starter from last year. He went down with an ACL injury in week 2. Anthony Goff stepped up. He's a downhill style rusher with over 1,200 yards on the season. And on the defensive side of the football for Bridgewater, they have some great linebackers. Chike Nwankwo, 122 total tackles on the season for the second-year starter. And for Westfield, Hank Shapiro is the first ever sophomore quarterback to start for Jim DeSarno, and he's led this team to an unbeaten regular season so far. Drew Ortiz, his second-year starter defensively. He leads the team with 58 total tackles and a defense that allows 7.5 points per game.
Of course, the third member of our broadcast team all weekend long, Amanda Puglisi. She's down on the sidelines. Amanda?
Thanks, Lou. You know, Bridgewater-Raritan is really looking forward to this game. The coaching staff told me that on the bus ride over, you could really feel the passion and the energy that the players had. And once they pulled up to MetLife and they saw the green halo, they were so excited. They've had a lot of tempo to them, something they're going to need against Westfield. Now, remember, this is a familiar place for this Westfield program, but there's a lot of new faces on this team. Of course, Hank Shapiro and Stevie Barden are two guys who have had great seasons so far, and they've also had a great week of practice. So this coaching staff expects big things.
And the crowd is fired up here at MetLife Stadium. As we said, this is the third year in a row the Panthers and the Blue Devils will play for the state title in Group 5. Bridgewater-Raritan will kick off left to right on your screen. The Panthers, the lower seed in their road white uniforms trimmed with black and red, and of course Westfield, the home team, the #1 seed. The Blue Devils coming into this game undefeated in their home blue. And it's a little pooch kick to get things started, fielded by Westfield at the 27-yard line. So the Panthers wanted no part of a kickoff return to get things going.
It's a little overexcited. Stephen Barton jumping up and falling back into one of his own players just to make sure he had that ball.
So Westfield comes out. The Blue Devils, you see, ranked number 12 and undefeated at 11-0. They've won 36 straight games. It is not the longest winning streak in Westfield history. They won 48 back in the early 70s. Shows you what a great program this has been for so many years. Hank Shapiro is their sophomore quarterback. He's had a good year, 99 of 175, 13 touchdowns, over 1,300 yards passing through the air, 57% on his passes this season. Short pickup on that first down, maybe a yard, second down and 9. Justin Bryant, one of the leaders of that Bridgewater-Raritan defense in the middle.
Hank Shapiro in his first year starting for Westfield, a sophomore, and it's the first sophomore to ever start for Westfield at the quarterback position, and he's had some first-year growing pains, but always better to do that in an unbeaten regular season.
And he's back to throw, going deep, has a man wide open, incomplete. Just let him a little bit too much for Griffin Rooney, who had beaten the coverage. Shapiro airing it out on that second down play.
And that goes to show you the confidence that Jim DeCerno has in his young quarterback. And he was saying yesterday when we spoke to him that, you know, our sophomore guys, they're not sophomores at this point in the season. They've all pretty much got a year under their belt. So any of those young guys, they're upperclassmen now.
Well, a third down and 9 now here for the Blue Devils. Key early play here in the game. And looking to throw. Here is, he won't get it off. Good pass rush by Bridgewater-Raritan as they storm in. And Ami Samanhali in on the play. Big play by the defensive tackle.
And we talked about how stout this linebacker crew is, and a good second move by Samanhali as Holly went to the right first, and then he was able to get that little swim move, cut back inside. And there was nowhere to go for Hank Shapiro. Good defensive stop on the opening possession for the Panthers.
Alan Choi storming in there as well. Choi coming into the game with 6 sacks on the season for the Panthers. Big pass rush by Bridgewater-Raritan, and they do get the punt away. Will Kessler averaging about 39 yards per kick, but had to rush that one. And Bridgewater-Raritan will start with good field position near midfield. The Panthers quarterback is that man, their junior Greg Verano. 126 out of 154, over 1,100 yards passing, 14 touchdowns. He's run the ball 223 yards on 88 carries. He's had a terrific season.
He was in the rotation as a skill guy last year, wide receiver and running back. This is first year starting at the quarterback spot as well.
Panthers come up in the I formation and they run it. And that's Anthony Goff who gets the carry, and he picks up a few.
We talked about Goff coming in this year. He was not slated to be the starter. That was Uswick, and Uswick suffered the ACL injury in week 2, and Goff stepped in, and they've barely missed a beat.
David Uswick tore his ACL, 67 carries, 684 yards, 5 touchdowns before he got hurt. We'll give you Goff's numbers after this play, and they have not missed a beat with him. Goff gets outside and crashes into 3 Westfield defenders. But Goff, Matt, 1,386 yards, 228 carries, 12 touchdowns on the year for the junior.
Yeah, and he's a good downhill style runner, likes to run physically. Got kind of sandwiched and hit up high by Steve Barden.
Good size, 5'11", 200 pounds. And he will carry the load in the backfield for the Panthers. Now Greg Verano looks over to the sideline to get the play. Third down at about 5 for the Panthers. They come up in the I. And the give is to Goff, off tackle, dives forward, and looks like he's going to be short of first down yardage. He didn't get there. Drew Ortiz in on the play along with Rory McGovern, the senior defensive tackle. McGovern with 9 tackles for a loss this season. And it brings up a 4th and 2. And Panthers look like they might go for it here. Let's see. Yeah, they will on their side of the field. So Scott Bray rolling the dice early here in this championship game.
Yeah, and I like the call. I'll tell you why after the play.
Panthers come up in the good old-fashioned eye, and they give it to Goff, and he powers ahead, but he's not going to get there. Blue Devils with a big fourth down play defensively as they stack it up, and the Panthers come up short.
Even though they don't get it, I still appreciate what Coach Bray is trying to do. He has trust in his defense. You know points are going to be at a premium in this game. They've been the last 2 times that these 2 teams have played. Both defenses are stout, so you've got to take the opportunities when they present themselves, even if they're not high percentage opportunities, and you're also giving faith to your offensive line, showing your running back and your offense that you trust them to get the job done. Again, even though they didn't get it done here, I still appreciate the call.
Westfield takes over in Bridgewater-Raritan territory at the 49, and they run it off tackle. Giandre House on the carry. House, a senior running back, 125 carries, 618 yards on the year. They've got 2 outstanding backs, Tim Allegro and Giandre House. Allegro's got 868 yards. Of course, Westfield, again, going back to their great program history, at one time had one of the greatest running backs in New Jersey history, Glenn Keeler, an all-state player of the early 70s. Here's a throw outside, beautifully done by Shapiro on the run, and he rifles it in to Griffin Rooney.
I think that they undersold Hank Shapiro to us a little bit. I was asking yesterday what some of his strengths were. He's got a really good arm. The first couple times that we've seen him throw it, he's pretty accurate. He throws a nice tight ball, and he's only a sophomore, so they've got a good one for a couple of years.
So the Blue Devils with a first down at the 32-yard line of Bridgewater-Raritan. Here's the give, and trying to cut it back in is House. And he's banged down inside the 30-yard line, but he picks up good yardage, almost 5 on that carry.
Again, defensively, these 2 teams do not allow a whole heck of a lot. Westfield, 7.5 points per game. Bridgewater-Raritan, 12 points per game allowed. Nice job by the left side of that offensive line. That was Jordan Baram leading the way, creating some space.
Second down and 6. Here's the pitch to House, looking to turn the corner. He does cut in, but the Panthers play it very well defensively as they string it out. Verano over there on the play for Bridgewater-Raritan.
And that looked like there was going to be a big hole, and it closed down very quickly. It was Nwankwo that just got taken out of the play. Greg Verano pursuing there to the tackle, along with Lawrence Nice, pardon me.
Verano with a very good play to turn it back in, not allowing House to get outside. So 3rd down and 4 now for Westfield at the Bridgewater-Raritan 26. And the give off tackle, nowhere to go. It's Chike Nwankwo on the big play. And Chike Nwankwo, 122 tackles on the year. Last year, he had 130 from his linebacker slot for the Panthers.
And Nwankwo was a guy last year coming into the year. They weren't really sure where they were going to play him. Where they're going to play him more as a safety, as a defensive lineman, as a linebacker. And they put him into the linebacker spot in preseason. He absolutely flourished, and he's doing it again this year in his senior season. Him and Bryant combined to make an incredibly stout middle of the defense.
On a 4th down play, here's Shapiro back to throw. Now he runs out of there, and he is met at the 25-yard line. He'll be well short of the first down.
So on 3rd down, it was Nwankwo. On 4th down, Justin Bryant, to the other half of that wrecking crew, was the last man between Westfield and a first down. So both teams go for it on 4th down here in the first quarter, and both turn it over on downs. Again, just look at the anticipation by Justin Bryant, because that one could have got away from him in a hurry.
Well, Justin Bryant with a terrific play. First down and 10 for Bridgewater-Raritan at the 25-yard line. A handoff goes to Goff, and he carries for a few. Well, we talked about Justin Bryant, 119 tackles on the year. Last year at 124. And Amanda, he keeps spearheading the middle of that Bridgewater-Raritan defense.
Lou, he definitely directs that defense, and he also makes sure everyone's in place. And Coach Bray says of his 23 years of coaching, Justin is the top 2 or 3 of the most intelligent players that he's ever been around, and you see it there on the field.
Second down upcoming here for his teammates, the Panthers. A second down and 7.
Bryant, a third-year starter, two-time All-State performer, likely will be again this year.
Here's Verano looking to throw. Now he gets some pressure, and he's brought down at the 25. He tried to pick up a couple of yards, but those yards were hard to come by. Big play for Westfield. That's John McCauley, junior defensive tackle. E.J.
Matthewson was open downfield. He was calling for it, but he was to Verano's left. By the time that Verano saw him, he was already kind of scrambling to the right side. Would have been a really difficult throw to go across his body in an off-balance situation. So instead he tries to scramble with his feet. He's met by John McCauley.
So 3rd and 8 upcoming here for the Panthers. Football is at the 27-yard line. 3 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the first quarter. No score between the Panthers and the Blue Devils. Now a penalty flag is thrown. That's going to be a delay of game, I believe.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Well, that's a tough penalty for the Panthers. Now instead of 3rd and 8, 3rd and 13. Scott Bray not crazy about that. What's the reaction here by Coach Bray?
Yep.
That was Scott Bray, a long time going back to his playing days at Bridgewater-Raritan West. He's done a great job with this program, as we said. Here's Verano firing into traffic, and it's nearly intercepted.
Brandon Myers almost made a tremendous grab, as that one, he kind of had his back to Verano as the ball entered his hands. It was actually between his hands, but in triple coverage, that one was a little tough to hold on to. That would have been a fantastic over-the-shoulder catch.
Brandon Myers, an outstanding tight end. 32 catches on the year. He's got 10 touchdown receptions out of those 32 catches.
Does not look like Bridgewater-Raritan's going to go for it on 4th down this time.
They kick it away. Colton Roseland with the kick. Fair catch called for at the 46-yard line. Westfield will take it at that point. No score here with 3 minutes and 21 seconds remaining here in this first quarter. Westfield Blue Devils undefeated on the season, but a very interesting note about them, as you take a look at their schedule, they defeated only one team over 500 this season. That was Immaculata on October 20th by the score of 23-6. The combined record for all their opponents is 31-59. Now, you can't fault Westfield for that. You can only beat who you play.
Exactly.
But this will certainly be, without question, their toughest opponent this season. Bridgewater-Raritan coming in at 9-2, and the Panthers have certainly played a very tough schedule.
Yeah, and for Westfield, you know, it's got to feel like, even though they're the number 12 team in our Tri-State poll, they won this game 2 consecutive years. You got to imagine they feel like they do have some doubters because of that schedule. The people that feel that Bridgewater-Raritan is finally going to get over that hump here in year 3.
Here's a handoff up the middle and driving forward for good yardage. This run there by Jandre House. But 2nd down and 6 upcoming for the Blue Devils here at the 38-yard line. Down to 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Mention Westfield has won 36 consecutive games. Outstanding winning streak they have put together, the 2nd longest in school history. 48 is their longest. That's one of the longest in state history. And getting outside is House, and he takes it out of bounds inside the 30.
That was just pure speed from Wandre House. He took the ball. It looked like he was going to run straight up the gut, and then at the last second he just, nope, turned to his right and burned everybody as he beat him to the sideline.
First down play, and the handoff, and nowhere to go this time. As Nwankwo gets in there and snuffs that one out. No chance of Nick Selly, the outstanding senior defensive end, also in on the play. Selly, 73 tackles on the year.
Defense just pretty much ready. You know, we talk about the two coaches know each other well. The two teams now have played for the third straight year. I mean, there's not going to be a whole lot of tricks. Both teams are going to pretty much know well what the other is going to do.
On the run, nice pass delivered by Shapiro. Excellent pass again by Shapiro, right on the numbers. Colin Freer, the tight end, the sophomore, his 17th catch of the year.
How about the job Freer did to get a couple of yards after the catch and after the contact, shaking off a defender, staying on his feet and getting about 4 more yards. You know, I'm talking to Jim DeSarno about some of this group of underclassmen, the sophomores. You saw it there with Freer. You know, he said, to be honest, I'm a little surprised to be playing in this game. Usually, you're supposed to lose a game for every sophomore you play with.
Well, there's a 3rd and 8, and that time Shapiro just threw that one into the ground. And he took a big shot afterwards as well. And no flag thrown on the play, so it will simply be 4th down. Well, the officials are actually talking about it now, but a flag was not thrown.
I think that Westfield perhaps benefiting from an on-call here, because there didn't really seem like there was anybody from a Westfield perspective in the realm of where that ball was thrown.
You saw that replay. Hank might have gotten away with one. He fired that directly into the ground. But, hey, you live to play another down here. Here's Shapiro rolling out on the run. He delivers. That's the first down catch inside the 15 as he drills it into Steve Barton. And what I'm impressed with so far with Shapiro on top of the throwing arm is it seems like the timing he has down between he and his wide receivers is very much in sync. He's got his eyes upfield, and he looks beyond his years for a sophomore quarterback. And Bridgewater-Raritan now calls a timeout as the Panthers want to talk it over defensively. Westfield has driven down inside the 15-yard line. You see the Blue Devils, Jim DeSarno, the head coach in his 12th season, 92 wins, just 36 losses. He's had only one losing season since taking over a team that was 1-9. 12 years ago, the Blue Devils 1-9. DeSarno came in, and he has turned the program around. Of course, as we said, Westfield had a great tradition and history back in the 60s and 70s. They fell on some hard times in the early 2000s, and Jim DeSarno has come in and lifted the program back to its familiar heights. First and 10, Blue Devils at the 13. Shapiro, he shovels it up ahead. No chance on that play. Nwankwo had that diagnosed and smelled out. Lawrence Nice also in on the tackle. Nice, the senior, has 55 tackles. 2 outstanding defensive ends in this Bridgewater-Raritan defense.
Yeah, Nice, who was a starter towards the end of last year because of injuries to Alan Troy.
Second down and 11, and they may not get this play off, and they will not. So the first quarter comes to an end here at MetLife Stadium in front of a big crowd for this North Jersey Section 2 Group 5 Championship. Our score after one, Westfield and Bridgewater-Raritan 0-0 as we go to the second quarter here at MetLife on News 12 Varsity. Well, these two teams have had quite a recent history. They've played some great games over the past several years. Last year's was an outstanding contest between the Panthers and Blue Devils.
Yeah, with Westfield leading 9-0, Bridgewater-Raritan quarterback Nick Atanasio had a 50-yard touchdown run to make it 9-7 Westfield. Then in the second quarter, Westfield defense, Adam McDaniel's 39-yard interception return for a touchdown. In the fourth quarter, Atanasio scrambles, finds David Uswick for a 25-yard touchdown, little high step there. Made it 15-13 Westfield, a 2-point conversion. Atanasio going for the goal line. Shea Elliott made the stop, and Westfield repeated as champion and ran their winning streak to 25 games.
Winning streak that is now stretched to 36. And they're banging on the door here, second down 11 as the second quarter begins here at MetLife. Throw towards the end zone. It is incomplete, knocked away. Excellent defense by Adam McDaniel, the senior who got over there. And also in on the play for the Panthers, number 22, Nick Bazzani.
Yeah, and I still continue to be impressed by the touch that Hank Shapiro has shown. By all accounts, looked like Steve Barton should have had that ball. It was in his hands. The defense came over to knock it away, and Barton almost looked like he was pleading for a pass interference, but that was just good, solid defense by Nick Bazzoni.
Or he was in disbelief that he didn't catch it, but as we said, that was outstanding defense to knock it away. Third and 11, Shapiro fires end zone, and it's knocked away again. This time by Tyler Ball, the senior corner.
Oh, that was the full extent of the digit of the middle finger by Tyler Ball to knock that away. Another well-placed ball. Looking for Steve Barton again in the end zone, and another good ball. Tyler Ball listed at 5'11". It took all of that, all of his wingspan, to tip that up and out.
Now, Westfield's going to go for it here, I believe, on 4th down and 11. And this is an interesting call here by Jim DeSardo. Aiden Bolin, their outstanding senior kicker, has 9 field goals on the year, but they are going to go for the touchdown here, or at least try to get the first down. And let's see.
Delay. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
That might change the decision.
Yeah, delay a game. Now, instead of 4th and 11, it'll be 4th and 16. But again, it looks like they're still going to go for it.
The MetLife is not known as windy as a stadium as Giant Stadium used to be. A little bit more kicker friendly. Still challenging, but a little bit more. And the wind is pretty calm tonight.
Shapiro in trouble, goes down. So the Panthers play it well on that 4th down play. Brandon Myers in on the play, the first man there for the Panthers.
And that penalty just set that up for Bridgewater-Raritan. They were able to kind of pin their ears back and send some guys forward. And Hank Shapiro was out of luck. Nowhere for him to go. Secondary was well covered. Coming off the edge.
That was the sophomore, Peter Uswick, in on the play.
Yep.
So the younger Uswick with a big defensive play. And it brings up a first down and 10. Bridgewater-Raritan. Panthers take over on downs, and they come up in the eye. Here's the give to Goff, and he's hit at the line of scrimmage, drives forward for a couple.
Got a bit of a brother affair on Bridgewater-Raritan. Last year, I mean, Lawrence Nice is playing, but last year his brother Chris Nice, they both started on the defensive line. So we got the Uswicks, the Nices.
You know, you see Bridgewater-Raritan come up offensively. Matt, it's refreshing, actually, to see some good old-fashioned football. Panthers, one of the few teams still running out of the eye and utilizing a tight end. Our buddy John Malone, not so sure. He likes the wide-open spread football. John Malone doing stats with us up here.
Well, it certainly does lend itself to a bit more openness, a bit more opportunity, but you know, there are still a few old school guys.
Lou Brockno being one of them. They're down at about 7. 3rd and 7 here at the 28-yard line. Twin receivers go to the right side, and now the Panthers will set up in the pistol as Verano goes straight back to throw. Quick step, he flips it out, and a big defensive play made by Jake Dayon, the senior linebacker.
That was an incredibly dangerous throw. It was thrown, Verano threw it behind him, so it's technically a lateral. If that ball's dropped, it's a fumble, and he threw it very soft. So you see it kind of lobbed. Westfield almost intercepted it. If that gets to anybody's hands but Justin Bryant, that's 6 points for Westfield.
Well, Colton Roseland is in to punt it away. Westfield should get good field position near midfield. Good snap. Heavy rush by the Blue Devils. Fair catch called for and made at the Bridgewater-Raritan 47-yard line. Tomorrow here at MetLife Stadium, a huge day. Hope you can join us, not only here on News12Varsity.com, but watch live on Optimum Channel 61 at 5 p.m. We'll be on the air. North 1 Group 5 Championship. The Soaring Eagles of Union City taking on the undefeated Mounties of Montclair, ranked number 8 in our tri-state poll. The second game is for the New Jersey State Championship. Number 2 versus number 1. St. Peter's going up against Bergen Catholic. It'll be live at 8 p.m. on Channel 61. We invite you to join us tomorrow night here from MetLife. Up the middle, it's a huge hole, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Westfield. Tim Allegro breaks through and takes it to the house.
Well, they didn't want to wait for you to finish doing your promo for tomorrow night. They said, what do we care about Bergen Catholic? Showing some great speed. Allegro did. Normally he's a tough and a physical runner, but as a sophomore he's taken a tremendous burden in terms of carrying the football, but just a huge burst of speed through that hole.
Tim Allegro, his 9th touchdown of the year. Extra point kick is up, and it is good. Aiden Boland boots it through, and Westfield breaks on top. The Blue Devils lead it 7-0.
And just great speed. Once he hits that hole, there's nobody catching up to him. Excellent job on the offensive line, the middle of that offensive line. I think give credit where credit is due. John McCauley opening up that hole.
What a hole by that Westfield O-line. Allegro, the sophomore, that was his first carry of the game. 170 carries coming in, 868 yards. One play scoring drive. Coach DeSarno will take that every time. 47 yards. Allegro, 47-yard touchdown run. So now Bridgewater-Raritan trailing for the first time. Panthers are down 7-0. Westfield band celebrating on the far side. There's a bounding kick picked up at the 10-yard line. And a good return here for the Panthers up across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Bridgewater-Raritan will put it in play there.
And now they've got their work cut out for them a little bit. Defensively, that was sort of the first hole that got punched through either defense. Neither defense had given up much in terms of anything offensively. So how do they respond after the first big blow of this game?
Scott Bray, that's the schedule his team has gone up against this year. It's a tough schedule. They lost to Phillipsburg, North Hunterdon. Both of those teams will play here on Saturday afternoon.
Against each other, correct?
Correct. And that throw comes outside, incomplete. Verano trying to deliver that pass outside for E.J. Mathewson. Brings up a 2nd down and 10.
And now for Bridgewater-Raritan, it's, what's going to be the successful combination offensively? What's going to get some traction to get a little extended offensive possession here?
Verano hands it off. That's a huge hole up the middle. Almost breaking free is Anthony Goff. He was one step away.
Well, for the Panthers this season, when they've been looking for an offensive answer, it's usually been number 4, carrying the ball over 200 times this year. No surprise to the contact. Some nice shiftiness. Good wiggle, as they call it, getting out to midfield.
1st and 10. Panthers right at the midfield stripe again to Goff. This time nowhere to go as he's hit by Drew Ortiz in the middle of that Westfield defense. Ortiz, the leader of the Blue Devils defense. 58 total tackles coming in. 8.5 remaining here in the 2nd quarter. And the Panthers picked up 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Verano fires. It's intercepted. Tipped by the Blue Devils and picked off by Jake Dayon. So Verano is picked for the 8th time this season. And he sets Westfield up with good field position near midfield.
Well, for the last 2 years, Jake Dayon has been sort of a big play guy for this Westfield defense. This time in the right spot at the right time, as Shea Elliott was the one who got the tip. But Jake Dayon, whose dad is the linebackers coach for Westfield, he's a linebacker, so he's well coached. He knows what he's doing. And he's short-handed there to create the interception.
1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. And look at the throw, going deep, wide open. Catch made at the 15-yard line. That's a diving grab by Griffin Rooney. A spectacular grab.
I've said it a bunch of times already throughout this broadcast. Hank Shapiro has an excellent arm and good touch. Not just for a sophomore, for any quarterback. You would be happy with any quarterback making that sort of throw at the high school level. The first throw of the game was a little overthrown, but since then he's been right on the money with every single pass.
And Westfield is banging on the door again. It's 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line and trying to come wide. Nowhere to go. Emmett Smith hit behind the line of scrimmage.
Bridgewater-Raritan trying to say that they forced the fumble before the whistle was blown, but the officials seeing it otherwise.
Justin Bryant pleading his case.
Shapiro now passing wise, 6 of 10, 79 yards. So he's been efficient. And a couple of those incompletes, they were right on the money, just good defensive plays by Bridgewater-Raritan.
Hey, speaking of old-fashioned football, John Malone will like this one. Westfield, Emmett Smith, he's listed as a flanker. When's the last time you saw a flanker on a team?
You get the flanker
That's
split
go back
end.
probably to like the 80s.
You got an X and Y receiver.
But Emmett Smith on that carry came around. So third down now, though, and 9 for the Blue Devils. And Westfield with the football at the 13-yard line. Bridgewater-Raritan, it's still very early in the game, 6:35 in the second quarter, but it would behoove the Panthers to keep the Blue Devils out of the end zone here, as they already trail 7-0. Shapiro in the gun. Receiver split left and right, and Shapiro on the run, delivers, and caught inside the 5-yard line, but there's a penalty flag down in the Westfield backfield.
And that looks like it's in the area where this one might come back.
Offense, 10-yard penalty. Replay third down.
So the penalty against the Blue Devils will wipe out that big gain and back them up 10.
See where the hold was. Yeah, right there by Jordan Baram. Anytime you have your arm extended with a fistful of jersey, it's probably not going to go well. So that backs them up all the way to the 23-yard line. They got to get to the 5 for a first down.
Third down and 19. Double pump fake, receiver open, caught inside the 5. It's not a touchdown as Smith makes the catch. There's your flanker down at the 1-yard line.
I have no idea how Emmett Smith caught that ball. The way that the Bridgewater-Raritan defender was coming over, I thought that was getting intercepted the entire time, but strong hands by Emmett Smith. Peter Uswick coming over, and he was the one who was kind of pursuing the football. It looked like he had it the whole way, but great grab by Emmett Smith to haul that in. And again, the throws that Hank Shapiro is making. Shapiro wished this was the NFL, that's a touchdown. But high school, the elbow goes down, the knee goes down, so you are down.
Inside the 1-yard line, and Westfield threatening to go up by 2 scores here.
Well, sometimes in the NFL, you don't know what a catch is. So we know that was a catch.
Shapiro, well, actually, they're going to go Wildcat here. And diving in and over the goal line. Where's the call? No call yet. Yes, touchdown, Westfield. Steve Barton took the direct snap, and he dives in. Well, not Barton, but rather number 8.
Valabera.
It's Jake Valabera. Not 1 but 8, and Valabera takes it in.
Valabera, the infrequent defensive end quarterback combo.
And movement prior to the kick.
It's a 3-year starter on defense.
Defense, half the distance to the goal. We'll replay the try.
Offside Bridgewater-Raritan, and they'll move it half the distance, but Blue Devils will still line up to kick the extra point. Aiden Bolin trying to add his 28th extra point of the season.
So Valabera listed at 6'4", 221, using all his size, power to get into the end zone on the touchdown.
Snap good, kick is drilled right through. 5:32 remaining, second quarter, and Westfield has moved out to a 2-touchdown lead.
And so you can see, just got it across the goal line with the ball in his left hand. This might give us a pretty good angle here. And you can see he was, the football definitely over the goal line.
So Westfield leads it 14-0 now. Very important part of the game for Bridgewater-Raritan. The Panthers down by 2 scores. They haven't really done much offensively on their last several possessions, so they've got to get things cranked up here a little bit to stay in this game.
And Lou may get lost on that drive. That great grab by Emmett Smith on 3rd and 19 for 23 yards.
Line drive, kick taken at the 15-yard line, and outside is Goff across the 30-yard line. Well, Jake Valabera does it offensively there. Of course, an outstanding defensive player, really contributing, Amanda.
And Jake Valabera's older brother, Joe, actually played for this team 9 years ago. And Coach DeSarno says even then he had heard about Jake and knew that he was so athletic. He did play quarterback on the freshman team. But he's the kind of kid, though, guys, that he'll just play wherever this team is needed, whether it's now on the defensive end or even in the Wildcat.
Well, on the defensive side, he's been a stellar performer. 44 tackles, 19 tackles for a loss, and 11 sacks on that Westfield defensive line.
Well, when you get hyped as a 7-year-old, you got to live up to it, right?
You're not kidding. Twin receiver split right side. They give it to Goff, who stood up and drilled at the line of scrimmage. Drew Ortiz with a textbook tackle.
And Lou, as you mentioned, this is real dangerous territory, if you will, for Bridgewater-Raritan. Down 14-0 to a defense that allows just 7.5 points per game. Your offense still looking for answers. Westfield has scored touchdowns on back-to-back possessions now, and with still 5 minutes left in the first half, got to find something to get this offense going.
And if you just saw that last tackle by Ortiz, kids, that is how you tackle. He wrapped him up. He stood his ground, wrapped him up, and took him down. So Bridgewater-Raritan calling a timeout, down 14-0. It's a tough bracket, this North 2 Group 5 bracket. A lot of talented teams. Westfield, of course, had the number 1 seed. They beat a pretty good Ridge team that got the 8th seed, 17-10. See Bridgewater-Raritan beating an old rival in Watchung Hills, 41-0. And then in the semifinals, Westfield and Elizabeth played for the 2nd time this year. Blue Devils defeating the Minutemen 13-6. And Bridgewater-Raritan with a gigantic win over Piscataway, 27-6. And a lot of people thought the Chiefs were going to win that one going into that contest, but Bridgewater-Raritan, a dominant performance.
Yeah, especially on the road.
And trying to come wide, but nothing doing. Bridgewater-Raritan trying to get outside with Kyle Nickel.
And Lou, this team in Bridgewater-Raritan, they've gotten just now 30 yards of offense in the first half, 1 first down. So all the points they were able to generate last week, this Westfield defense is living up to the billing so far.
The Panthers offense has been putting up good numbers this year. Scott Bray trying to figure out a way to get his offense going here. He's got triple receivers to the left side, and Verano in the gun. He's straight back to throw, fires outside, and that catch is made by Roseland, and that's good for a Bridgewater-Raritan first down. Colton Roseland makes the catch, his 18th catch of the year.
And as I was saying, it's vitally important that Bridgewater-Raritan was able to get something out of that. Roseland making a nice adjustment after the catch and getting a couple more yards to clinch the first down.
Trips go to the right side, 3:45 remaining here in the second quarter. 1st and 10, Panthers at the 49-yard line. Goff gets the handoff and powers his way across midfield. And he picks up about 3 or 4. Ortiz on the tackle. Get the feeling those two are going to meet quite often here tonight, Ortiz and Goff.
Yeah, with the way that Bridgewater runs the football, and Goff gets a healthy dose of carries.
On a second down play, it's Goff again. This time he has an opening, breaks into the secondary, and takes it across the 30-yard line. Nice job by the offensive line to spring Goff, and then he took off once he got past the line of scrimmage.
Two of the three biggest plays tonight for Bridgewater-Raritan have pretty much been Goff up the middle with a little change of direction after he hits the hole. And this so far the best drive of the night for Bridgewater-Raritan, exactly what the doctor ordered for the Panthers.
We take it down to the 30-yard line, 1st and 10. Trips go right side for the Panthers. Now movement on the offensive line.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, that'll slow down the drive as it moves them back 5. It'll be 1st and 15.
Appreciate how quick our officiating crew is on the calls, right? There's no deliberation. They know what the penalty is. They let us know, and we're moving on.
Football at the 35. 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. Second quarter. Trips go to the right, and here's Verano back to throw. He's in trouble. Lets it go, and it is intercepted. No, incomplete.
Well, it looked like for a moment that was going to be intercepted. He threw that as he was hit, did Verano. I think Verano definitely forced that one because there were 3 Westfield players around it. There was Jason Cassett, Jordan Simpson among them. And as soon as he lets this ball go, he's kind of getting hit from the left side by Valibera, who just had the touchdown a moment ago.
And McDaniel had the best shot at it in the secondary. Here's the give. Goff changes direction, spins inside the 30, down to about the 28. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down. 3rd and about 8.
Now Bridgewater-Raritan still has 1 timeout. Minute 44 to go in this first half. I know they'd love to get at least 5 yards here, if not the 1st down.
And the give to Goff again, and he finds an opening, puts his head down, and burrows ahead for the 1st down inside the 20-yard line. Terrific run.
And that's all vision from Goff, because that was a designed run to the left side. And Goff followed his blockers until he saw the hole completely closed. Then he very quickly saw that right side open up, darted to that side, and got the 1st down for Bridgewater-Raritan.
At the 18-yard line, it's 1st and 10 Panthers with just 1:10 remaining. And a delayed handoff to Goff, and he spins inside the 15, down to the 13. Bridgewater-Raritan has 1 timeout remaining, and they're inside a minute now, 50 seconds. Quickly, they come up to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and about 5 for the Panthers at the 13-yard line. Goff again, another huge hole. He'll take it in for the touchdown. Well, that was a big-time dose of number 4.
Well, we were wondering what was going to get this offense going, and there were a couple big key runs on that drive by Anthony Goff. That was his 16th carry of the night already.
Nick Bolero boots through the extra point, and boy, did the Panthers need that. With 39 seconds left here this first half, they're right back in the game. It's 14-7.
13-yard touchdown run by Goff, and there were 3 real quality runs on this drive. And the touchdown to cap it off. And where would Bridgewater be without Anthony Goff? As Uswick got hurt early in the season, Goff came in, stepped in, And as we've said many times through tonight, they did not miss a beat.
So the Panthers trail 14-7 with 40 seconds left here in this second quarter. And again, they kind of pooch it. Fair catch called for at the 41. Well, great drive by Anthony Goff, the junior running back for Bridgewater-Raritan. And he has been a force here once again tonight, Amanda.
Lou, you know, Anthony Goff moved to the district 2 weeks into the preseason last year, and Coach Bray likes to tell the story. He remembers seeing Anthony Goff's mom walk across the field. She introduced herself, introduced her son, and Coach was intrigued. He said automatically he was drawn to his size, but he didn't know what kind of player Goff was going to be, and he says right away his work ethic came out. He never missed a practice. He understood he was a new guy. He took his lumps, ran scout team, and that's really something that's helped him out this season.
He's been an outstanding performer this year, as Matt mentioned, stepping in for David Uswick, who was an outstanding running back in his own right for the Panthers. And big defensive play by Bridgewater-Raritan as they pile up the play at the line of scrimmage. Tim Allegro maybe picked up a yard or two.
Now, Lou, I don't think there's going to be too many football coaches disappointed when you see a 5'11", 200-pound running back come through the doors a couple weeks into summer practice.
Well, the clock ticks down, and the first half about to come to an end. Hey, fans on both sides of MetLife Stadium on their feet.
That is the end of the first half.
That was a terrific first half of football in this Group 5 championship game, and would have to say we didn't expect anything less. The Panthers with a big touchdown drive at the end of the second quarter, right back in the game. Our score at halftime: Westfield 14, Bridgewater-Raritan 7. Another half of football to go with the Group 5 North Jersey Championship on the line. Coming up in just a few moments here on News 12 Varsity. Back at MetLife Stadium, we're at the half. Westfield leading Bridgewater-Raritan 14-7 in this North 2 Group 5 championship game. And once again, another close affair between these two teams, which is the way it has gone over the past several years. And a lot of big plays in that first half, started by the Blue Devils.
Yeah, and defensively, we thought this was going to be a tight game, and it has been so far. Early on, Hank Shapiro looking for Steve Barton a couple times in the end zone, and Bridgewater-Raritan able to break up plays not once but twice. Tyler Ball there. This time a good hard tackle by Dayan to eliminate any offensive pressure. Now the big run by Allegro. That was the first score of the game to break things open for Westfield. And then after that, another Westfield positive play. Interception by Dan again. That sets up Westfield in business. Again, they already had the 7-0 lead. Hank Shapiro looked very good in the first half. A diving grab sets up another big catch by Emmett Smith in traffic. And that set Westfield up. They had first and goal from the 1. And it was run in on a wildcat by Jake Val-Libera. They were up 14-0, and things started to look dangerous. But finally, Anthony Goff got going for Bridgewater-Raritan, and it was none too soon as the Panthers get on the board late in the first half. And it's a 14-7 game at halftime.
Anthony Goff, 16 carries, 91 yards and the touchdown in that first half. You see the rushing yards. Bridgewater-Raritan with 88 total rushing yards. Westfield 102 through the air.
And you see 5 first downs for Bridgewater-Raritan. 4 of them came on that last drive of the first half that resulted in the touchdown.
Time of possession relatively even between the Blue Devils and the Panthers, and a relatively even first half of play as well, as Bridgewater-Raritan trails Westfield by the score of 14-7. A big second half play coming up in the Group 5 final here on News 12 Varsity. Back at MetLife Stadium, we get ready for half number 2. Westfield leading Bridgewater-Raritan 14-7. Brogno along with Matt Shortis and Amanda Puglisi down on the sidelines. Amanda?
Lou, I can tell you that late touchdown in the second quarter really energized this Bridgewater-Raritan team. As they were walking back to the bench, you can hear them saying, "That's one." You know, at halftime, really their confidence was built up a lot. Now they're going to start the second half with the ball, and you can tell they're just looking to build upon their momentum. Now on the other side for Westfield, you know, they're a very defense-heavy team, so they're really looking to keep their offense kind of, you know, off the field a little bit. They're playing way too much offense, Coach Sarno said, but of course defensively, their main concern is looking out for Anthony Goff. You know, he has 91 rushing yards compared to the rest of the team, who just has 7 total. So, of course, that's going to be a main concern in the second half.
That's very interesting. You never hear a coach say we're playing too much offense. So Jim DeSarno kind of flipping the script a little bit. But for Bridgewater-Raritan, you could tell, as soon as they scored that touchdown, defensively, the very next play, there was a completely different energy around the defense, and it seemed like they were just that much more confident once they got that score.
Blue Devils kicking right to left on your screen to begin half number 2. It's a short kick that is picked up at the 30-yard line, and then breaking away across the 32 was Peter Uswick on the return.
So Westfield has Bridgewater-Raritan right where they want them on offense.
So the Panthers will start at their own 32. Their initial drive of the second half. Westfield leading 14-7. Bridgewater-Raritan, their 7th playoff appearance in the last 9 years. Their 3rd straight final here in Group 5. And they are looking for their first title. Bridgewater-Raritan East High School won 2 titles, 1974 and 1989. And then East and West merged in 1991 to form what is now Bridgewater-Raritan High School. But they have never won a championship since that merger. Here is Verano stepping up. Now he's in trouble, and he gets away. Verano at the 30-yard line cuts outside and picks up a hard-earned 3 yards.
That could have gone south in a hurry several times on that play for Bridgewater-Raritan, and an excellent job by Greg Verano to extend that play and make something out of it. There's one, there's another. He escaped like 3 or 4 tackles on that play just to make something positive. And so vitally important for Bridgewater-Raritan. After you get the touchdown, you know you want to come out of the locker room with something else to build on top of that.
Here's Goff trying to pick up some yards, and again he's met after maybe a pickup of 2 or so. Drew Ortiz in on the tackle.
And Goff finally started to get going on that last drive. He had 91 yards in the first half. 70 plus of those yards came on that drive. Or 57, pardon me, came on that drive. So more than half his first half production on that last series.
Pick up just a yard on that last play, so it's 3rd and 6 for the Panthers. Verano looking to throw. Now nobody open. He's going to take off and try to cut outside. He's not going to get there. Pulled down at the 34-yard line by Jake Dayon, who stayed with the play nicely.
That's one of the things this Westfield defense can do, is they kind of scare you a little bit into making decisions you might not otherwise. Verano had some decent room to keep running upfield, and he saw the blue jerseys converging on him from his peripherals. He decides to turn kind of laterally and bites himself in a sense.
So the Panthers will have to kick it away. Colton Roseland to kick. Emmett Smith is back deep for the Blue Devils. Beautiful kick, high booming punt, and a fair catch called for at the 30-yard line. So Westfield will take over their first offensive possession of the second half. These two teams have played 4 years in a row now. 2014, they played in the first round of the playoffs. Westfield won 24-14. 2015, it was the final, 10-7. 2016, in the final, 15-13. Hank Shapiro has them ahead 14-7 here. Their fourth straight playoff meeting, and 3 of those were finals. Here's the handoff, and off tackle, breaking through the line of scrimmage was House, Juandre House.
For a moment, that one looked like it was going to be a huge gain for Westfield, but they still get 6+ yards out of it. Lou, what did Einstein say the definition of insanity was? You do the same thing over and over again, expect a different result. So Bridgewater-Raritan hoping to leave here with a semblance of sanity when they exit MetLife Stadium tonight.
2nd down and 4. Huge hole up the middle again for House. And he picks up the first down and much more across the 45 up to the 47. Westfield leads this series 6-2. They've won 6 straight over Bridgewater-Raritan. They've had the Panthers' number.
Well, Blue Devils coming out a little differently than we saw in the first half. They were a bit more happy to throw the ball in the first half. Hank Shapiro really put the arm on display. They come out to begin the third quarter with Juandre House and the ground game.
1st and 10 at the 47. Here's House again. This time he's not going to get outside, as Alan Choi played it beautifully. Choi coming over and sliding across the line of scrimmage to make the play.
So I wonder if when Jim DeCerno was talking about spending too much time on offense, it was more a philosophy thing, because usually having the ball is not a negative. Perhaps it was more just that we're rushing the ball in the sense of or not spending enough time on offense because we're throwing the ball.
Here's Coach DeSardo and his sophomore quarterback Hank Shapiro. Things look bright for Westfield down the road. Shapiro, Allegro, sophomores. And Shapiro lets it fly just out of the reach of his intended receiver, Griffin Rooney, another one of those sophomores. Colin Freer, the tight end's a sophomore. In fact, 5 of 6 starting skill players are underclassmen, and 4 are sophomores. Just a little bit too far for Rooney. 3rd down and 9. Football sits at the 49-yard line of Westfield. Twin receivers left side, and now it's like a little quarterback draw, if you will. Shapiro just takes off. He took 1 step back and then took off. Looked like a designed run all the way there.
And this now, I think, is one of those gray areas, because 4th down coming up, but it looks like Westfield is going to punt. But I could have seen them going for it on 4th and 3. The way their defense is played.
Will Kessler is in to punt it away. Kessler, also just a sophomore. End over end kick, bounces across the 10, down at the 2-yard line by Adam McDaniel. So the Panthers will start in the shadow of their own goalpost. It'll be 1st and 10 at their own 2. Well, tomorrow, another big day here at MetLife Stadium. 2 huge games, and those games will be seen on Optimum Channel 61. Montclair taking on Union City for the North 1 Group 5 Championship. The Mounsby's trying to cap an undefeated season. And then the big one at 8 o'clock for the New Jersey State Championship. St. Peter's ranked number 2, Bergen Catholic number 1. That's the non-public Group 4 title game. Handoff goes to Goff up to the 8-yard line. And as we said, Matt, that game is for the non-public Group 4 title, but really it's for the New Jersey State Championship, because those are the 2 top-rated teams in the Garden State.
Exactly. When you get teams 1 and 2, I mean, we had, as I was walking in here today, And the security guard's asking me where they can watch the games. He said he's going to be at a security post, but he's looking forward to that game already.
Second down and about 3, and again it's Goff. And he should have enough for the first down as he slides across the 12-yard line. So good job by Bridgewater-Raritan offense to get out of a deep hole. They started at their 2. They've moved it up near the 13.
Goff now over the century mark on the day. 103 yards on 19 carries.
First and 10 Panthers. At their own 13-yard line, they come up in the eye, and Goff dots that eye, gets the handoff, makes a nice cut, puts his head down, and powers his way across the 15 up to the 17-yard line.
And sometimes you get running backs that work well with, a couple of carries, working in different parts of the offense, but Goff seems a guy who he needs the football to be effective. The more he's carrying the football, the more he gets into a rhythm.
And he dives up ahead across the 20. He was initially stopped at about the 19, but then he kept driving, and he moves it up to the 22-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1. 5 minutes left, third quarter. Panthers have moved it to the 23. Here's Verano. Quarterback sneak, follows his blockers, and dives across the 25. Again, a good job here by Bridgewater-Raritan's offensive line. They're controlling the line of scrimmage at the moment.
Yeah, for Bridgewater-Raritan, their dream, their perfect offense is, an 8-minute drive that goes 80 yards, results in a touchdown.
Goff gets the handoff. This time, nowhere to go, as he is hit and driven back at the line of scrimmage. The initial hit by Rory McGovern, the senior defensive tackle.
Yeah, not only did McGovern get to Goff first, and Goff is a tough guy to send back. McGovern sheds his blocker and then come down. He was helped by Jacob Dayan, who's had a really impressive game. Dayan has been in some great spots. He had the interception, pass breakup.
2nd and 10. Goff gets the handoff, has a hole, dives up across the 30 to the 31 or 2. And it brings up a 3rd down and about 4 upcoming. This is a time-consuming drive for the Panthers. The clock just rolling right along here in this third quarter. 3.5 remaining in the third. Twin receivers split to the left side. Verano takes off, nowhere to go. He powers ahead. He may have gotten the first down. He's pretty close. He was hit well behind the marker, the yard to gain. And he's close enough for a measurement.
I think it's going to be a little short from where we are up here. Granted, we're way up in the press box. But a great second, third, fourth effort by Verano. They wanted to pass that ball, and there was such pressure that came so quickly from the weak side for Westfield that Verano just had to keep on moving forward. And pretty positive spot as well for Bridgewater-Raritan.
And that's pretty good eyesight, Matt Shortis. They are short by about the length of the football.
Do what I can.
So it is 4th down, and Panthers are not going to take the chance here.
Yeah, tough to ask them to risk that. It's completely different first series of the game when you're close to midfield or even a little bit beyond, but now down a score late in the third. If you don't get it here, you give Westfield excellent field position and a chance to go up 2.
So Roseland to kick it away. And goes off the side of his foot and out of bounds. That's not what Colton was looking for there, as Westfield gets good field position at the 45. So the Blue Devils will put it in play there.
Well, we saw the 2016 game. How about the 2017 game? Westfield up 3-0. Matt Verano, a 1-yard touchdown run to make it 10-0. Then Cole Harper blocks the punt, recovers the ball in the end zone for the touchdown, make it a 10-7 game. Late, the ensuing onside kick out of bounds. And Bridgewater-Raritan would not recover. The final 10-7. Westfield victorious for the sectional championship.
And back to the action on a first down carry. Tim Allegro carries the football. And he gets back maybe to the line of scrimmage. So it brings up second down and 10, just shy of the 45.
So 2 games in the last 2 years decided by a total of 5 points. And you see how important in both games special teams or some weird fluky play came into effect for Westfield.
That's dumped outside, a big collision as Allegro takes on the tackler for Bridgewater-Raritan. Finally making the stop for the Panthers is Nick Bazzani.
You know, they list him at 182, but he seems a little bit stockier than that. Allegro does.
Justin Bryant coming over as well to combine on that tackle. Now big play here, third down and about 4 for the Blue Devils. Shapiro keeps it himself and dives ahead. He will not have the first down. He's short by a couple of yards.
Yeah, even with a pretty positive spot, that's still going to be a yard plus shy. Player down for Bridgewater-Raritan. Brandon Myers is stretching out his right calf, it looks like.
Myers, senior linebacker, also tight end on the offensive side. It looks like a cramp, so they'll stretch him out, stop the clock with 1:09 remaining here in the third quarter. Westfield up by the score of 14-7, trying to win their third straight Group 5 title, and their third straight Group 5 title over Bridgewater-Raritan. Something those fans of the Panthers would not like to see. They want to celebrate a championship on their end, something that they have never celebrated at Bridgewater-Raritan. North 2 Group 5 champions, past 5 years. As we said, the Blue Devils back-to-back. Linden in 14, Red Devils of Ridge in 13. Elizabeth won it in 2012.
Jim DeSarno, along with Jake Valabera, trying to get some clarification on something.
Oh, it's fourth down and almost 2. Panthers will get the ball back here. Verano goes back to receive the punt. And Kessler will punt it away.
Looks like Westfield having a little trouble getting the right personnel on the field. Actually, both teams were a man shy.
Final minute of play of the third quarter. Kessler, line drive kick. And it takes a good Westfield bounce. Again, Bridgewater-Raritan will be pinned inside their 10-yard line. Will Kessler with a nice punt there. And he's had a solid sophomore season, Amanda.
I mean, that kick was kind of like when you approach the green on a chip shot and you get some backspin on it.
So Bridgewater-Raritan, we'll check in with Amanda in a few minutes or so. So 1st and 10 for the Panthers. And the give is to Goff, spinning his way up near the 10-yard line. All right, let's check in with Amanda on Will Kessler.
Well, you know, Westfield football is in his blood. His two older brothers, John and Owen, played football, but growing up, Will played a little bit of soccer. You know, he started playing football as a freshman, and he was someone that this coaching staff didn't see coming, but he certainly has picked up right where his brothers left off.
Well, his punt pinned Bridgewater-Raritan back inside the 10, and the Panthers with a 2nd down and about 7, and the clock expires. That's the end of the 3rd quarter here at MetLife Stadium. One more quarter of football to go in this North Group 5 championship game. Westfield up by a touchdown. The Blue Devils lead it 14-7 here on News 12 Varsity. Well, of course, News 12 Varsity is here at MetLife Stadium all weekend long. And we talked about Friday's big games. Saturday's a full slate of games. Beginning in the morning at 10 a.m. kickoff. The North 2 Group 3 final. West Essex takes on Voorhees. At 10 a.m. it's the Central Jersey Group 2 final. Point Pleasantboro going up against Hillside, Shabazz, and Weequahic. And North Hunterdon versus Phillipsburg at 1 o'clock. South Brunswick versus Manalapan. That's a terrific game in Central Group 5. St. Joe's DePaul. My buddy Matt Shortis will be there. Riverdale Ramapo here at MetLife at Freehold Borough versus Long Branch. And Point Pleasant Beach takes on Middlesex. What a year for the Blue Jays, Central Jersey Group 1. Mount out of Old Tappan, the nightcap here at MetLife. Somerville versus Rumson for the Central Jersey Group 3 title. And Pompton Lakes, Hasbrook Heights for the North 1 Group 1 title. How about Somerville? Coached by former owner of the New Jersey Devils, Jeff Vanderbeek, who himself played at Bridgewater-Raritan East when they won the championship in 1974. He's done a great job with the Pioneers this year.
Player down for Westfield. Yeah, you know, the Game 7 World Series, it's an all-hands-on-deck situation. That's what the Saturday of the New Jersey State Football Championships are. At News 12 Varsity. All hands on deck. Everybody's putting in the long hours to bring every game that we can to you fine folks.
Looks like there's a player shaken up at the 15-yard line. So the clock stops momentarily. First minute of play here of the 4th. Big crowd here. Lower bowl. With a good contingent on both sides.
I don't know if there was some traffic coming from Westfield for this game. It seems like the Westfield crowd has doubled in size since the first quarter. Unless there were tweets and Instagram stories and all sorts of things that said, hey, you guys better get over here.
Yeah,
missing a good one.
There's a lot of blue on the far side. Royal blue, the color of Westfield. And you have a Westfield player being helped off the field. Looks like can't see that number, to be honest with you. I think it's 42, but we're not 100% sure.
It does look like Charlie Riley, but he's able to walk off on the most part on his own, so that's a good sign.
Here's Goff on a first down run for the Panthers. Takes it up across the 20.
And I mentioned in the third quarter, Goff is just a guy that feeds off getting fed the ball. He's not going to have tremendously long runs. His longest run today is 18 yards. But he is somebody who gets into a rhythm, is not afraid of the contact, likes to be physical, and can wear down some of the linebackers. Now, easier said than done against this Westfield crew. But Goff is, as usually is, the workhorse tonight for Bridgewater-Raritan.
And he gets the carry again, takes it up across the 25 as he cuts back in. And he'll be about a buck short.
And something to keep an eye on the last couple of years. We've had some funky finishes. So in a one-score game right now, gotta make sure you stay to the end of this one.
3rd down and 1 for the Panthers. At the 26-yard line. And the give to Goff, turns it in and powers his way across the 30-yard line. Picks up a Bridgewater-Raritan first down.
Showing some good speed. Jordan Simpson on the tackle. But Goff was trying to get to the outside and decided to just take the yards he needed and cut back in. Turned upfield.
1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. Twin receivers split out right side. The give is to Goff, who turns it in and reaches up ahead to the 35-yard line. Steve Barton on the tackle for the Blue Devils. Just about 2 minutes gone by here in this 4th quarter. Bridgewater-Raritan trailing 14-7. Handoff again to Goff, and he breaks one tackle, pushes the pile up near the 38-yard line. It's tough sledding in there, and Goff is going to be one tired young man at the end of this game. But he is a workhorse, as you mentioned, Matt.
Lou, I don't think right now is the time to do it because it's 3rd and short, but at some point, because they just keep running the ball, Bridgewater-Raritan has got to take a shot downfield with a little play action.
It is 3rd down and about 3. And the fans on both sides on their feet. Panthers trying to keep this drive going. Scott Bray sends the play in. On a 3rd and 3, it's a big hole for Goff, who drags defenders with him up to the 50-yard line.
Boy, for a second it was looking dicey whether or not he'd get the first down. Once he had it, took a couple extra guys, 8 yards with him, further than the first down marker. I mean, look at this, 1, 2, 3 guys at separate points to bring him down.
That is some run by Bridgewater-Raritan's junior running back, Anthony Goff. Timeout called. It's a first down for the Panthers at their own 49-yard line. Plenty of time here, 8 minutes and 56 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter.
Well, timeout wasn't charged to either team. I think there was players down.
1st and 10. Kyle Nickel goes in motion. Verano keeps it himself, and he is hemmed in and brought down. He never was able to get to the corner. Good defensive play. Stevie Barton coming in to make the tackle.
The quickness and the ability to sort of be flexible by this Westfield defense is impressive to watch, because from up here it looks like Verano's got all sorts of time and all sorts of space, and the second he makes his decision, Westfield is almost on the same wavelength as him defensively. They know what's coming and they swarm to where he goes.
He picked up just 2, 2nd down and 8, and the give is to Goff, and that's a short pickup. So now the Panthers faced with a 3rd and long. It'll be 3rd down and almost 6.
We've seen this a couple times. This offensively, this is not really what they're designed to do. This is not their bread and butter. So in a 3rd and long situation, the averages or the percentages are already in the defensive side, but Westfield can kind of pack it up even further.
7:25 remaining 4th quarter. Toronto, play action now, rolling out, he fires, it is caught, but short of the 1st down. Terrific defensive play by Kessler, Will Kessler, on the coverage and the tackle, and he stops Colton Roseland short of the 1st down marker.
And if you're Colton Roseland, you probably want to get out 1 extra yard on that route, know where the sticks are. That way, Verano, if he hits you like he does, you're at the sticks already. They're going to go for it on 4th and 1.
Huge play. 4th down and 1. The give to Goff, and I'm not sure he got there.
I think it depends where they spot it. I think he did get it as he was going forward. He rolled a little bit forward, but as he rolled, he was kind of on top of a Westfield player, so I don't think he was actually down, and I think the spot should be enough to give it to him. Where it's spotted right now, I think that's a 1st down.
Had to get to the 41-yard line, and that's where the ball is placed. And they'll stretch the chains out. This is a huge measurement. And as they stretch it out, it is a 1st down by half the length of the football.
Again, watch it when Goff goes down, he kind of rolled forward a little bit. And as he was down, where the ball was just beyond the hash mark of the 41-yard line. I think it was a good spot, good result.
1st and 10, Panthers at the 41 out of the eye. Here's the give to Goff, and he takes on a defender and rolls over. Picks up about 3 yards on the carry.
Again, this is the Bridgewater-Raritan mindset. This is what they want to do. Just keep running the ball. If they can run it 3-4 yards at a clip every time, that suits them just fine.
Again out of the eye on a 2nd down play. Goff inside the 35. Jordan Simpson comes up to make the tackle. And it will bring up the 3rd down. 3rd down in about 4. Down to 5 minutes now and 35 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. It's Goff. This time he's hit, and he will be stopped. Did not get back to the line of scrimmage.
That time Shea Elliott clogged up the middle, and there was absolutely nowhere for Goff to go.
So now a huge play, 4th down and 4 from the 35-yard line. Panthers need to get just inside the 31 to keep this drive alive.
So last time they passed the ball, they set up with play action. 3 receivers all up top, and that's a lot of motion. Flag down.
And if that's on
offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
That is a killer for the Panthers. That pushes them back 5 yards. So now it's 4th down and almost 9.
Now I think you got to punt. There's 4:41 left. You trust your defense. You have 3 timeouts remaining. If you can pin Westfield deep, put yourself in a bit more of an advantageous position, and give yourself the opportunity with 3 timeouts, get it back with about 2 minutes left. I think that's the play here.
But they're going to go Trip receivers go out to the right side. It's 4th and 9, and the Panthers are going to go for it from the 40-yard line. Verano straight back to throw. Heavy pass rush by Westfield. Long throw down the field. Incomplete. Intended for his tight end, Brandon Myers. And Westfield will take over on downs.
And now, for Bridgewater-Raritan, even if they get a stop, even if it's 3 and out, you're probably looking at the ball on your own 20, 25-yard line with 2 minutes left. And this is an offense that is run heavy, and that's an understatement, right? So it's just put them, the Panthers just put themselves in a much more difficult situation to try and come back and tie this game.
Handoff goes to Allegro, and he's hit at the 41, driven back. Might have picked up a yard. We're less than 4 minutes now left here in the 4th. Westfield up by a touchdown. It's 14-7 Blue Devils as they try to close in on their 3rd straight championship.
I mean, because Westfield has not been able to move the ball too effectively either in the second half. So if you pin them back, again, you just put yourself in a much more advantageous position.
Shapiro in trouble, and he lets it go. And no flag thrown again. That's the second time we've seen Shapiro do that here tonight.
Well, here's the thing. The first time, I thought there was legitimate gripe. This time, he might have threw the ball straight down, but there were plenty of Westfield players within the vicinity. See, I don't agree with that one. If they're going to have the flag for grounding, it should have been the one earlier in the game. This one, I think he had more of an opportunity.
Offense, 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It includes a loss of down. 3rd down.
If we look at the replay, there are Westfield receivers. Again, I knew he threw it straight down. He's out of the pocket. If you look, right, there's a receiver. I guess that's an offensive lineman, so I guess it wouldn't be considered a receiver. But I thought the other one was clearer than that.
Well, this time
that seems like it was a flag that was petitioned for.
This time he gets flagged, and that's a huge penalty because it's a 3rd down from the 30, and here's Allegro trying to get outside, not going to get there. He gets a couple, and Westfield will have to punt. So that intentional grounding penalty was huge for the Blue Devils. And now Bridgewater-Raritan's going to get the ball back. Kessler comes in to kick, and Verano goes back deep to receive. He stands at the 35. And Bridgewater-Raritan with all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Of course, Westfield will let the clock tick down as much as they can. They're at 2:43 now. And it's a short kick. Takes a good, though, bounce for Westfield. Inside the 30, and it rolls. The Blue Devils trying to give it a little bit extra to push it along. But Bridgewater-Raritan is going to take over at the 25-yard line. Keep in mind the Panthers have to get a touchdown and an extra point to tie the game. The last drive, 17 plays, 53 yards, 8 minutes and 25 seconds. 13 of the 17 plays were carries by Goff.
So what we're saying is there's got to be a little change of philosophy with 2.5 to play. Even with the 3 timeouts, they're on their own 25-yard line. It'll be a little bit more up to Verano. And they spread things out.
1st and 10. Hand off to Goff. Well, powers across the 30, up to the 31, but they're going to need bigger plays than that with 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining.
Oh, maybe we see them run out of the spread a little bit more, though, as opposed to the I formation.
Two minutes remaining. Again, they still have the 3 timeouts. Trips go to the right side, and Verano in trouble, and he fires incomplete. He had a pass rusher in his face when he delivered that. Looked like Shea Elliott was blitzing from his linebacker slot.
Well, Bridgewater-Raritan, prior to that play, they were taking their time a little bit. There was probably 15 to 20 seconds elapsed off the clock. You'd like to see a little bit more. I mean, I know they have the 3 timeouts, but they're still on their 31-yard line. You'd like to see a little more sense of urgency.
3rd and 4. Obviously, the Panthers in 4-down situation. They'll go for it even on 4th down here. Trips to the right side, and Verano looking to throw. He steps up. He's going deep. Penalty marker's thrown. It's intercepted. But that could be an interference call. Let's see what the penalty is.
Well, Verano felt the pressure coming, and he was trying to get rid of it as quickly as he could. The marker is down about 20 yards prior to where the interception was.
Yeah, this will be a huge call, no question.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, results in a 1st down.
That's a gigantic penalty, as the Blue Devils would have had the ball on the turnover. Instead, Bridgewater-Raritan gets a 1st down. There's a Westfield player down at the 35-yard line. Clock stopped, 1:42 left. Westfield up by 7, 14-7. The Blue Devils trying to win their 3rd straight title, but also trying to cap off an undefeated season at 12-0 and win their 37th straight game.
So they've had a few of those undefeated seasons.
Yes, they have. Player shake it up, Stevie Barton for the Blue Devils. Kind of grabbing back at that hamstring. Well, the Bridgewater-Raritan fans, and there's a lot of them here at MetLife, trying to implore their team to move the ball down the field. 1st and 10 for the Panthers at the 41.
Big cluster of them nervously swaying back and forth on their feet.
Twins split left and right, and Verano has it tipped as he let it go.
Right, he just got hammered as he tried to let go of the ball.
Stops the clock with 1:35 left. Verano shaking his head.
I mean, right now it seems like he's taking a little bit too much time. Westfield is dialing up plenty. They're getting plenty of pressure on Verano. That last one was Jordan Barham.
E.J. Mathewson goes wide to the right. Oh! Trying to get away. Verano fumbles the football. Picked up by Westfield. And it will be run in for a Blue Devil touchdown. Adam McDaniel picks up the fumble and takes it into the end zone.
Well, I said the endings of these games always have something a little wild, something a little funky. Verano was scrambling. Hard hit, jarred the football loose, and Adam McDaniel ran it back. And for the first time in the 3 meetings, we'll have a fairly wide margin of victory between Westfield and Bridgewater-Raritan.
So Adam McDaniel scoops up the loose ball and takes it in, slamming the door on the Panthers.
Well, it's Jordan Barham who stripped it And that was one of those plays that looked bad from the beginning for Bridgewater-Raritan. Goff, who they faked it to, he got hit pretty much right after the fake. Then Verano was scrambling with nowhere to go.
And Greg Verano shaken up on the play. Gets up slowly, but he'll walk off the field under his own power. And he really took some shots over the last couple of plays as Westfield really dialed up the pressure, knowing that the Panthers had to throw the football.
Second Bridgewater-Raritan turnover of the game.
So the disappointed Bridgewater-Raritan fans, some of them begin to file out. It's a very tough loss for them. They really felt, not only as a team, but their fans also felt that this was the year that they were going to knock off the Blue Devils, a young Westfield squad. But Westfield's defense too tough here in this fourth quarter. Extra point kick is no good. So with 1:27 remaining, and the Panthers trail 20-7. They still have all three of their timeouts, but just 1:27 left on the clock. And of course their quarterback, Greg Verano, really shaken up on that last play. So you have to wonder if he'll even be able to come back out there.
So Adam McDaniel, who was in the starting lineup last year at this time due to injury, had a pick six last year in this game, and is in the right spot at the right time, and using all his tools again to ice the game for Westfield as they will knock off Bridgewater-Raritan for the third consecutive year.
And remember, this is a Westfield team
loaded with sophomores.
Yeah, loaded with sophomores. So, I mean, the thought that they might be back here again, I think is a pretty solid thought. It's a team that's going to be seasoned with another championship in their hip pocket. Yeah, Bridgewater-Raritan, you take a look at their team as well. Anthony Goff's only a junior. Greg Verano's a junior. So they'll return several outstanding players as well.
Lou, we returned to, earlier in the broadcast, we talked about the combined record, the strength of schedule that Westfield has, and this would put any potential doubt away. Catch and run here for Kyle Nickel.
Westfield coming in with 36 straight wins. As we said, the longest in Westfield history is 48. That was accomplished in the early 1970s. This victory will push that to 37. And Verano's still in there, tosses it downfield. So Greg Verano's still out there at quarterback, even though he was really shaken up in that last sequence. Second down 10 for the Panthers. Obviously it would take a quick touchdown, an onside kick, and a recovery just to give them a chance. First win of the streak was against Plainfield, 6-0 on Thanksgiving 2014. Our buddy John Malone with that note.
Timeout, Bridgewater, their first and a half.
I mean, so the senior class of Westfield right now, they were freshmen during that game of 2014, right? You got 14, 15, 16, 17. a lot of winning in one high school career.
Sure is. The Blue Devils, and they've done it with outstanding defense. Really, it's been defense that has done it over the past several years.
I mean, look at this game tonight. You have the 2 turnovers, and they're right in line with what they allow statistically. They came into today allowing just 7.5 points per game. Really, Bridgewater-Raritan put together the one big drive at the end of the second quarter, and that was pretty much all Westfield allowed tonight.
They will win their 4th title since the playoff era began in 1974. That throw outside, good throw by Verano, and the catch made. It will be their 4th title since the playoff era began in 1974, but their 10th overall. They won 6 championships prior to the playoff era, and it also would be their 11th undefeated team. That's a beautiful catch by the outstanding tight end of Bridgewater-Raritan, Brandon Myers.
Matt McIntyre trying to make the defensive play. I think he hit his shoulder in a strange way as he was diving for that ball. He's down now, getting checked out. You know, I hate to see injuries towards the end of a game that appears to pretty much be decided already. But a couple guys have gone down in the last few minutes.
Scott Bray, even if his team does go down to defeat, has, as we said, done an outstanding job with this program. They won 9 games again this year. For the 3rd straight year, they've gotten to the final. And it's a tough road for the Panthers against a very, very difficult schedule. Week in and week out, they're playing some very, very tough teams in central New Jersey. Jim DeSarno. This one's got to be extremely pleasing for him, though. This is a young team. As we said, a lot of sophomores and juniors on this team. It wasn't really a rebuilding year so much, but they were hit hard by graduation. They lost a lot of the key players of the last 2 championship teams.
Yeah, and he told us yesterday, he said, it's surprising. I didn't really expect for us to be in this position.
Verano delivers the pass. It is caught. Another player shake it up here with just less than 30 seconds remaining.
I mean, that was a ferocious tackle by Drew Ortiz.
Unfortunately, a few players have been shaken up here over the last minute of this Group 5 final.
Kind of puts a damper on what had been a very entertaining football game up until the turnover with about 1.5 minutes to go.
We're going to take a short timeout. 30 seconds remaining here in the 4th quarter, and Westfield up by the score of 20-7 here on News 12 Varsity.
We'll do it. Mom, where's Miss Matthewson? He's got to go to the hospital. Jenna Matthewson.
Back at MetLife Stadium with just 30 seconds left in this fourth quarter. And Westfield will look to take a knee here. The Blue Devils looking to capture their third straight state championship. As the clock ticks down and the celebration is on for the Blue Devils as they win yet another state title as they defeat Bridgewater-Raritan for the third straight year in the final. And the final score of this one, 20-7. So Westfield, North 2 Group 5 champions, their 37th consecutive win. And a brilliant defensive performance by the Blue Devils, especially in the second half.
2 turnovers. They limit the Bridgewater-Raritan Panthers to really one big drive at the end of the first half that resulted in a touchdown. And again, just 7 points allowed. They average 7.5 points per game allowed. They're right on cue with that. And I wonder if Jim DeCerno has a preferred Gatorade flavor that he prefers for the Gatorade dunk at the end of these games now.
Well, the Blue Devils finished the season at 12-0, undefeated. North Jersey Group 5 champions. And they now have won 37 consecutive games in their third straight sectional title. Quite a run here by this Westfield program. Bridgewater-Raritan finishes at 9-3 on the season, and another great run for the Panthers, who get to their third final in as many tries.
And the game plan today for Westfield, it was kind of a tale of two halves, right? Hank Shapiro, the sophomore quarterback, came out. They threw the ball effectively. He looked very good. Excited from a Westfield standpoint to see what he could do over the next couple of years. Accurate, good arm. And then they had the lead at halftime, and they said, we're not going to relinquish. We're not going to play around here. We're going to run the ball. We're going to play strong defense. And we're going to ride what we do best to a championship, and that's exactly what they did.
So the Blue Devils win it by the score of 20-7. And Amanda Puglisi is standing by with our player of the game. Amanda?
Lou, of course, it's Jacob Dayon. Jacob, Westfield, 37-0. 3 championships, and you certainly had your hand in this one. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels great. With this being our last game at our high school, we're playing with our brothers out there. We just wanted one more special moment on the field, because it was just we ran out of time, unfortunately. But it's just a special moment to end our careers as seniors, undefeated. And it's just the best. I can't describe it right now. That noise out there, I can't describe it.
Defense had such a huge part in this win today, especially in the fourth quarter. What did you guys do that was so successful?
Well, we've been saying all year the defense the game's on our shoulders, So we every day in practice we put it on ourselves. The motto, defense wins championship. So we wanted to be out there in the situation. We know offense needs to score the ball. We need them to move the ball, but we want to determine the game on us, and that's our mentality.
How were you guys able to limit Anthony Goff to just 1 touchdown today?
It was all film work. We were prepared. Our coaches had a great game plan. We worked hard. This was our best practice week physically and mentally, in the right mindset. So the practice, we play well. So that's what the difference was, and a lot of film work.
Jacob, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lou, back to you.
All right, Amanda, and fittingly, the player of the game comes from the defensive side of the ball for Westfield. The Blue Devils defense propels them to another state title. Westfield wins it 20-7. Dominant defensive performance,
as it has been the last 3 years for this team against Bridgewater-Raritan, specifically in the championship game. But it's a common thread throughout all of what Westfield does defensively. I mentioned it a moment ago. They allow 7.5 points per game this season. They allowed 7 tonight, and the one drive, but that was it. They stymied this Bridgewater-Raritan offensive attack, a pretty strong rushing attack all evening long.
Well, tomorrow night, another great night of high school championship football here at MetLife Stadium. The North 1 Group 5 championship kickoff, 5 p.m. Union City going up against Montclair. The Mounties trying to cap an undefeated season. You can watch it live on Optimum Channel 61. And, of course, on News12Varsity.com and the News 12 Varsity app. And then the big one at 8 o'clock, the non-public Group 4 championship, the New Jersey State Championship game. Second-ranked St. Peter's Prep at 9-2, and top-ranked Bergen Catholic at 9-2. Watch it live on Optimum Channel 61 tomorrow night. We hope that you will join us here at MetLife Stadium. That'll do it here from MetLife tonight. Big night of high school football opens the weekend, championship weekend here in the Garden State. And for Westfield, another big night as they go undefeated, 12-0, 37 straight wins for the Blue Devils, 3 straight sectional championships, and they knock off Bridgewater-Raritan by the score of 20-7. For Matt Shortis and the Puglisi, our entire News 12 varsity team, I'm Lou Brogno. Thanks so much for joining us. Once again, your final score from MetLife Stadium. Westfield 20, Bridgewater-Raritan 7. The Blue Devils are North Jersey Group 5 sectional champions.